Good morning. It's a slightly drizzly morning in Chennai.
Yeah. So yesterday Bangalore had lightning and thunder, but I think in Delhi's case nothing happened.
Exactly.
So there was no lightning, no thunder. So it was sort of one-sided. In between, I actually shared on the Facebook. I said breaking news. Magnanimous Neeta Ambani has suggested that Delhi be given another chance to complete. I mean, to overhaul the Mumbai total.
I mean, it was like if it were Trump, we would have asked for stop the count.
No,
Delhi was.
Yeah. No, if it were Trump, Delhi would have said we have won.
We have won.
No, you didn't count properly. Yeah.
No, they were getting so many blows.
Yeah. No, that is
at
fine.
one level, it was very sorry because the match ended after almost say 8 balls into DC's innings. The match practically finished there. See, the turning point was the last 3 overs of Mumbai's batting innings and first 8 or 9 balls in DC's batting innings.
Yeah. So I mean, see, for me, like I've been always saying, some of these analysis and some of these ideas, I mean, it's not as if I'm saying post the match. Right in the beginning, I was wondering, you win the match, you toss, I mean, you have a chance to go straight into the into the finals. Go for bust, no?
Exactly. See, it's a old cricket truism, Raj. Simple. Win the toss, put the runs on the board. Then it's a very elementary thing.
Yeah.
You have been doing it for years.
Correct. See, now I told you now, in school cricket and all, we would win the toss, bat first, because who knows whether it will rain or whatever will happen. So batting at the point.
See, you had a logic here. That is a cricketing logic also.
I know.
Put the runs.
So
when you put the runs on a crucial do or die match, that adds the scoreboard pressure. The old cricketing cliche always is there.
Correct. So I didn't get that. See, when I was looking at the back data, I realized that in the 2 matches that Delhi played Mumbai, they have done that and they have batted first and lost. So they are thinking, okay, if I bat first, we will lose. So this is the analysis without context. And I mean, I had one more interesting thought there. I was thinking, when they bowled first, what were they telling their batsmen? What is the team management collectively telling the batsmen? Their batsmen. Guys, we are shielding you, or that we are, there is bound to be dew. We are shielding the bowlers. Which one of this is true? Or are both true? I don't know.
And Raj, good teams also challenge themselves.
Yeah.
If I had done badly in a previous match, I'll put myself in that position and try to better that. You challenge us. I have not been able to do that. I'll try and do that in a new chance. That's what good teams do that.
Yeah.
Mumbai is a good team. It has been doing everything asked of it.
Challenging. You raised a good point there, because yesterday, if you noticed, Chahar went for plenty. Rahul Chahar.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, Rohit Sharma did a Dhoni yesterday. He said, go back and bowl. And you actually had Kieron Pollard constantly with him and saying, cleaning the ball, telling him something. There was a lot of information being passed on. He actually bowled a decent over after that.
And you know what, Raj? Good thing you brought up for Rahul Chahar. After the match was over, Rohit Sharma called Rahul Chahar and asked him to lead the team out.
Yeah,
it was a very cute thing, because obviously he had a very off day in terms of bowling in overall. But that is the way you bring up a youngster. It's a very symbolic gesture, man. Sometimes you can take it for it. He was doing it for the camera. You can always say from outside whatever you want to. But I thought it was a
my point is, Bala, forget about whether he's doing it for camera or not. I don't care. When he did that, what was Rahul Chahar going through?
Exactly.
Just think of that. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm asking when I am saying you win the toss and you bat first. You bowl first. Are you saying, oh, you know what? We trust our batsmen to overhaul any score? I'm sure that was not the thought, because Delhi has not overhauled anything in this IPL. So the idea was, okay, we will save it up. We'll see what happens. Let us try to, we have a great bowling attack, and this bowling attack will be handicapped because of dew when we bowl second. So let us go with the great bowling attack and restrict Mumbai to 150s or something, which is what Hyderabad did.
Exactly.
Okay. Now that failed. Like you said, you brought that point. The last 3-4 overs, the Pandya-ji sort of ensured everything was deposited in the boundary. And you saw the way they were bowling. The first ball that Pandya received was full toss outside the leg stump. I mean, even I can at 56, I can hit it outside the boundary, man. I mean,
don't give off your age, Raj.
Yeah, that's okay. So, I mean, so the point is that, so what was the signal you were sending to the team? Because whatever it was, the team saw the signal as, look, we need to be careful. They were careful to the point they were too careful, and 3 down for nothing. So like somebody was saying, first it looked like a football score, then it looked like a tennis score, 6-4-3, 6-3. First set is over.
If Delhi had to take some positives within their own ranks, there was someone called Ravichandran Ashwin. He had a poor match against Mumbai Indians the previous outing. Yeah. He is a very mentally strong person. So look how he came back from the thrashing that he received in the previous match. Previous match, they didn't even play Akshar Patel. That was a major selectoral gaffe.
Yes.
Because they were afraid the left arm strong batting line of Mumbai Indians would target Akshar Patel. That's the reason they dropped Akshar Patel for the previous outing. And Ashwin had a poor match. But yesterday, look how well Ashwin bowled. Correct. That was terrific.
Yeah, so see the point again. See, another thing I was thinking of. So again, I looked up some data. I realized that Marcus Stoinis does open in BBL.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And he has scored tons of runs there.
Yes.
So Ricky Ponting, Marcus Stoinis, what were you thinking?
See, I mean, since you talk of Marcus Stoinis, why was he bowled just 1 over?
Yeah, no idea.
Especially when Daniel Sams was having an off day.
Yeah.
And why do you bowl him at the dead? I mean, there were at least 3. I think Stoinis bowled only 1 over.
Yes, correct.
I mean, on paper, he had gone for plenty in the back end of the innings. It's okay. But when Daniel Sams is having a poor game and Stoinis has bowled a decent first over, you could have tried him.
See, another thing I'll tell you, one of the criticisms that we heard of Rabada, Kagiso Rabada, again a great bowler, no doubt about it, was he doesn't take wickets in the power play just as much as Mumbai Indian or the other bowlers have done. So the point is, if you give him 1 over in the power play, what is he supposed to do, man? Right? I mean, yesterday you saw how the first 5 overs panned out. Different bowlers. Yeah. So what are you saying? So are you giving too much credit to the batsman, or are you giving too much discredit to the bowler, saying no, if you bowl the second over, they will measure you up?
See, but when you look at Mumbai Indians batting scorecard, any captain would be happy. You had 2 of the best batsmen in Mumbai rank scoring ducks.
Yeah, they served breakfast. Like they said,
anda. Exactly. But look at the other people. Everyone put their hands up and scored 40 plus minimum.
Yeah. In Mumbai Indians, the only problem I have right now is somebody should speak to Rohit Sharma and say, hey, buddy, you have a prospective keeper batsman in your midst. Better make him keep. Right. Yes. I mean, this guy anyway. Quinton de Kock is captain of the Proteas in white ball.
Yeah, shorter format.
Shorter format. So I mean, he has already arrived. I mean, let me arrive, man. Let him also arrive here.
Yesterday, I mean, since you talk of Ishan Kishan, he made an emphatic statement vis-a-vis Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
Who is the other young wicketkeeper in Indian scheme of things. Rishabh Pant, in terms of batting, he had a very poor match yesterday, and all through this IPL, he has been hardly impressive in terms of batting. So Ishan Kishan has been consistently impressive, and he is angling for the slot that Rishabh Pant has been getting. So I don't know whether it is too much of a big call, but Ishan Kishan deserves a chance in place of Rishabh Pant in the current scheme of things.
Yeah, Rishabh Pant is
but
not
Rishabh
there
Pant
in
is
white
only in the test
ball. Yeah, so even there, I would say, see, I mean, Bala, again, I will talk about the old logic. See, there came a time when we started sort of measuring everything with the shorter formats and then getting them ready for the longer format. Right? Even Virat Kohli started like that. He played his first test way after he played his ODI, made his ODI debut. So I can't remember whether Dhoni did the same thing. I think he did, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
Dhoni
over a period of time, it has been like that only. So fine, the situation has changed. We are happy with it. The point is, can you ignore this part? And if you look at the domestic, see, Ishan Kishan, when you guys are not playing domestic cricket, this fellow is consistently playing for his team, and he's scoring consistently, and he has a far better cricketing brain than this guy did. See, when the other fellow is going, he's just taking a single and saying, okay, all yours. And let me not do anything silly. So like yesterday, I pointed out, of all people, QDK did something stupid like that. When the other guy was going hell for leather, I mean.
De Kock was also in good form, man.
Yeah, so he went. But then, see, when somebody is in flow, you give it back to the guy, no? I mean, that is again cricketing,
that
like you say.
Hairs,
we say that, no? We say that. See, when somebody is going hammer and tongs, if you take a single and give it to him, he is again going to go hammer and tongs. Your wicket is there. You can go after the bowling later. So, I mean,
but towards the end, both Ishan Kishan and Pandya.
Both of them went berserk. So, like, I was looking at the Mumbai innings. So, see, they started at 10 runs and over, dropped to 6.5 runs.
Pulled it back.
Yeah, 6.5 runs and over from 7 to 15, which was excellent. And they lost 3 wickets in that. Now, after that, what happened? 78 runs in the last 5.
That's where my problem was, because Danielson, because they could have tried Stones. I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah.
And that was the baffling part for me.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, see, like you said, Marcus Stoinis went for 5 runs in the 1 over he bowled.
Just 1 over.
Yeah, and 2 dot balls.
So that was I mean, then again you are going by past precedent, because he had been leaking runs in the 18th.
That's exactly my point. That is exactly my point. There is just too much of analysis. I think Shreyas Iyer might as well be a player, and then the captaincy can be from outside, because everything is happening outside.
It's like operating through a call center, man. The call center is the dugout.
Yes.
That's everything is being taken care of back end.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think cricket can ever be played like that, because everything there is a context that I feel.
And the captain is in a better position to gauge that context, because he's in the field. See, you allow the umpire's call, because even when you're using technology in DRS, you allow a small percentage for the umpire's call, because he would know whether there was a slight wind blowing at a particular point.
Yes.
So those things, you give us that leeway. So similarly, captain should be given that leeway.
Now I think we will have something. You gave me an interesting idea. Now I think they will have something called captain's call.
Captain's call.
Hey, you wait, I will decide.
The only call he does is at the toss. That too, he might be just ventriloquing. Ventriloquing. I don't know whether.
Whatever.
Whatever. He's just mouthing it on behalf of the manager of the coach.
Yeah.
But Raj, I'll ask you another question. The top three batsmen of DC, they scored that, and all the 3 figure in some format for the Indian team. Rahane, Shah, Shikhar Dhawan. Does India have something to worry about during the Australian tour?
I would say no, because these guys got out to a New Zealander and an Indian. The Indian guy would be on their side, and the Kiwi is not around. So, and by the way, the Kiwi is supposed to be injured. I don't know what happened.
But Rohit Sharma played it down.
Played it down. So we'll wait and see. There
is a 3-day rest period also.
So he might come back.
He should be okay.
I don't see anything big in Shikhar Dhawan and Rahane, because Rahane is playing a role which he probably is not used to anymore, and he's out of practice. Shikhar Dhawan, doesn't matter whether he has practice or not, he will play the way he thinks that he will play that day. So yesterday, for example, the Bumrah balled a Yorker, but this dude missed the line, yaar. His bat was somewhere else. How did you miss the line?
Happens. And it kind of moved in the air. Right?
Yeah. No, even then, you expect this thing to happen, right? You cover for that. That is you. Anyway, separate thing. And Prithvi Shaw, we have always said Prithvi Shaw probably. I remember Gautam asking a question like, why KL Rahul in the test opening? I think this is the reason.
Exactly.
I think Prithvi Shaw is completely out of sorts. I would be. See, now when you are doing this,
he needs some time.
He needs time.
That for Rishabh Pant. Let's not be overcritical. But Prithvi Shaw has some technical issues, and that will be certainly exposed in play in Australia. But,
and don't forget, Ricky Ponting is part of the Australian think tank, right? So he knows. So for me, that is the bigger worry.
But Raj, forget about India. We'll get back to Mumbai Indians. How do you stop those Mumbai Indians?
The only team that can stop it, as far as I'm concerned, is Mumbai Indians themselves when they have an off day. I don't see them being stopped, very honestly. Right from the beginning, I saw, one thing was that you see the camaraderie, you see the fun that they're having. That tells you that the team is in a good space. Second, the captain goes, another guy steps up. The opener goes, another guy steps up. Suddenly, you have Ishan Kishan opening and scoring runs. I mean, they are playing the way Chennai has. This is a Chennai template. I mean, I'm not trying to say Chennai CSK is bigger than no.
Yeah, Mumbai has a better record, man.
Yeah, one better. I mean, last one run. Now, if they win this, I'm sure they're just one step away now. The point is that they have actually collected a team, which Chennai did. Whereas other teams are still talking about a bunch of individuals. That is, I think, the big difference. Now, you look at the number of fellows who have been with Mumbai for a long time. The Pandya brothers, Bumrah, right from the beginning.
See, Rohit. Pandya brothers and Bumrah, they were picked by Mumbai Indians before they were real stars, man.
Yes. So look at
them out of nowhere.
No, one Pandya was outside somewhere. They actually brought him over. I don't remember which one. I think Krunal, right? So look at it. Rohit Sharma, right up front. I mean, his compatriot now, QDK, they got last time. They got it from Delhi. I think he was in Delhi, if I remember. Or RCB, one of these.
He played for both the teams.
I don't know which one. Yeah. It's likely to be RCB usually. Right. You know why.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So there is Rohit Sharma. There are the two Pandyas. There is Bumrah. Who else? There is Kieron Pollard. Right. So I mean, in the gang, there are 5 fellows who have been constant. They are a constant for the last several years. Now, that is what makes a team.
It is not as if they picked them up since they were stars. They picked them and they became stars after they came to Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, Kieron Pollard was a replacement for, guess who? Dwayne Bravo. Yeah. And the story is legend where Harsha Bhogle is the one who actually, he was actually part of the Mumbai Indians that time in some capacity. And I don't know whether you have heard this. Harsha Bhogle is the one who actually was instrumental in getting. So when Bravo was leaving, Bravo gave Pollard, he was leaving. So he talked about Kieron Pollard, who both of them, by the way, are very good friends.
Yeah, they still
Pollard and they play together. And the person who came as the Bichaulia or in-between guy was none other than our commentator, West Indian, I'm forgetting his name. I mean, the legendary West Indian commentator.
Michael Holding?
No, non-cricketing. Tony Cozier. Tony Cozier was the commentator, who was the person who actually got this. So Harsha Bhogle SMSs Tony Cozier gets this, and then he thinks it's a joke. Harsha says, no, it's not a joke. Then it goes to
Dwayne Bravo or Dwayne Smith?
Dwayne Bravo. Dwayne Bravo started with Mumbai, if you remember, long back.
Because Dwayne Smith also from Mumbai went to CSK.
Yeah, so Bravo was the one who actually got this. So actually, it's there in Bravo's interview how this thing happened. Amazing story.
But by the way, I mean, getting back to this particular IPL, Mumbai Indians, if at all they can be stopped, it is only not through a team effort. It can be through individual brilliance, like a freak innings that somebody like De Villiers or Kohli or Warner or Manish Pandey, they are capable on a particular night. It is that kind of an innings or that kind of a bowling spell that
I would flip it.
Mumbai Indians on their tracks.
I would flip it and say, I would say that if at all they can be stopped, they can be stopped in their bowling. I mean, in their batting tracks, because the bowling is, Bumrah has to have a really bad day. I mean, like the one he had in the first match.
But somebody like De Villiers can take any bowler out of the wicket.
So that's my point. Somebody has to have a really bad
some kind of a freak innings.
Freak thing has to happen.
And I mean, that the good thing about cricket is those freak innings do happen.
Yeah. They do happen. See, Bumrah's biggest advantage is, look at this number you have. Bumrah has played one match less than Rabada. He has 27 wickets and his economy rate is 6.71.
Yes.
So that is where the difference is. And who's the only other guy who has an economy rate of 6 in the sixes? Jofra Archer. Expected. That is it.
Yeah, see, that is some kind of a class. These bowlers have class, because I was going through another stat. The overall economy rate in IPL, among cricketers who have had more than 75 wickets in IPL, the top 3 are Sunil Narine, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Dale Steyn. Cricketers of proven pedigree.
Yeah, so again, it comes to that. I mean, see, Sunil Narine probably is the only one who's actually a white ball specialist. So Bumrah is not a white ball specialist, mind you. Jofra Archer is not a white ball specialist. So you
Ravichandran Vishnu
is not a white ball specialist. Kagiso Rabada is not a white ball specialist.
But that is precisely the point, because you don't want to put such tags on these such great players.
Yes. And the big thing
is players go beyond the formats.
Yes. And the big thing is that they see their skills are functioning and they're workable in every game that they play. It is the skills are the same. It's not a, I mean, this is like saying, okay, I'll make, so do you make chapati differently for breakfast and dinner? No. The chapati is the same. No. It looks the same. It tastes the same. Okay. Where you are eating, it's a different thing. That is the way I see it. I mean, skill is skill. One more example I'll tell you. I just figured this out. I just did a quick calculation. Mumbai Indians have actually taken the maximum number of wickets in the power play. Till now.
Exactly.
28 wickets they have taken. Guess who is next?
It should be RCB.
Hyderabad.
No.
Hyderabad.
Okay. Hyderabad. Okay.
So in my mind, I think we'll end the segment. It's 20 minutes. Two things I want to say. One, I'm sure you are aware, Jasprit Bumrah is now, with 27 wickets, and easily he can get a couple more. He is definitely the highest wicket taker, Indian bowler who has taken the maximum wickets in an IPL. He has broken Bhuvneshwar's record. With one yesterday, the last wicket, he broke that record. So that is one. And in the finals, I would love not to have a repeat of this match.
Exactly.
I'll leave it. Yeah.
Leave it.
Because so if at all amongst the three, I mean, again, I'm sticking my neck out. I might be wrong. If at all there is a team which can actually counter punch and by not doing the exact same that Delhi is doing. Delhi is doing something. See, in a prize fight, if both the boxers have the same technique, they're doing the same thing, the one who is superior in strength wins, right? It's easy.
Yeah, and it never makes for good contest.
So I think it will be SRH, which is completely different. They don't have pace. There is nobody who bowls, over 135 kgs. The 135 guy is our Jason Holder. So it's a different ball game. So I think, actually, literally, my last word would be that. What's yours from here?
I would still not rule out RCB. Since you talked of Hyderabad, anybody who has to meet Mumbai has to win tonight.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, RCB would be itching to prove a point. If this is not because they've had a very bad last, because it's history, man. After 4 wins, they still make the playoffs. I don't think that has happened before in the IPL.
Because 4 losses, you
mean. They lose 4 matches on the run, but still make it to the playoffs. So that is a butt of joke. And RCB as a team has been a butt of joke for long. So they need to come out, and this is the occasion. And yesterday you had their captain's birthday.
Yeah.
And there is no bigger motivation for that. But anyway, I'll tell you one thing. The person who was the national captain who had his birthday yesterday, his team will tonight. It could be Jason Holder or Virat Kohli, because both of them had their birthdays and both of them lead their respective national teams. So one of them.
Yeah. So that is very nicely put. Yeah, very evenly put. I must say. So I will say one thing. If Kohli and if RCB has to win, I think they need to score big runs in the first 6 overs and much better runs in the next.
Simon Dole had a point. He said, "Make Kohli open the innings."
Yeah, I've been saying that also. I've been saying Kohli needs to open because
that's the reason I said that.
I don't think there is any. See, you have imagine a scenario where Padikkal is sort of. He is there. He has arrived. I think he's probably one of the big successes.
He does that supporting act well.
Yeah, he does
that supporting act very well.
And he can clear the field, and he can also take his singles and twos, and he has all the shots. All of that is fine. The other end has been always loose in all the 14 matches till now, right? You had Finch, you had so many things. So, whether it is Josh Philippe or Finch, bring the guy at number 5 and say, boss, this is what you're doing for this match. Let us figure it out. I'm going to open.
And Dowell had another point. If you open it with Kohli, you also give yourself the option of having De Villiers at number 1. Number 3. Number 3, which is pretty good.
Yeah. And I imagine a scenario, after 6 overs, one of them gets out, and who walks in? De Villiers. So what do you need?
You maximize your resources also.
Yes. So that is, I think that is the way it is. SRH, I don't think they'll change anything, but for any injuries, scares or anything. But so today's match should be fun. It wouldn't be as one-sided as yesterday's was. And Delhi, if I were Ricky Ponting, I would do something very, very drastic. Several drastic things I will do. I mean, but then I don't think Delhi is in that frame of mind anymore. So we'll leave it there, I guess. Right. And then hope that hope that we don't see a repeat of this match in the finals, because that will be one bloody boring affair. Yeah. So okay, nice. Thanks, Bala. We'll see you later. Bye bye, and keep watching, keep commenting, keep whatever it is. Let us go. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.